The next UI control we're going to look at is the scroll bar. Here you see the UML diagram for it. We're going to see a picture on the next slide that might be easier to explain some of the functions that exist here. So we'll go there now and you can study this UML diagram in your study time. Here are the parts of a scroll bar. These are all represented by properties that have property values, of course. The thumb is the thing that you would move back and forth by clicking and dragging with the mouse. You can also get it to move from within the program by doing an increment or decrement, and you saw that in the UML diagram on the previous slide. You can also click the left button or right button portion to get the thumb to move. The place where the thumb moves back and forth in is known as the track. There's a minimum value, that is the value furthest left, and a maximum value, the value furthest right, which can be settable within the scroll bar properties. Whether the user drags the thumb back and forth or clicks on the left or right button to move the thumb, whenever the value of the scroll bar changes, that constitutes an event and notifies the listener of the change, and then we can act upon that event. The default values for the extremities of the scroll bar are 0 for the minimum value and 100 for the maximum value, but these are adjustable. You create an event handler here by registering a listener on the scroll bar's value property so that whenever it changes, then you'll act upon that change in some way. In the example code at the bottom of the slide, we see where we've defined a scroll bar, again using the author's convention of SB in this case, a 2 or 3 letter prefix. So scroll bar SB equals new scroll bar. And then we add a listener to the observable value of the value property of the scroll bar, as you see in the code in the next line. We then use lambda notation, that is OV dash greater than, to represent an indication of the code that's going to execute whenever that value changes. That's shown then in curly brackets as an empty to-do list here, but in general you would populate that with some code. These scroll bars are general controls that can be used for anything, so they don't necessarily have to be used in a context that involves physical scrolling of some text, for example, like we do in this demo. Rather, you could have a scroll bar used to control the brightness of a scene or the color of a ball or something, or anything, any value at all, because when you move those sliders back and forth or up and down, you simply generate numbers between 0 and 100. And that number can be interpreted to control whatever you wish to control. In this case, we are going to do something like traditional scroll bar stuff by simply moving JavaFX programming, that string that you see in this example, back and forth and up and down according to the positions of the scroll bars.